But by the way, look how different things are in the second half. We talked with Brad Underwood at the Big Ten tournament about how they've been turning the switch on in the second half. Every game in the Big Ten tournament, they were down by 10 points or more in the second half and came back to win, which they'd never done in the regular season until Minneapolis. In this game, they were down 9 in the first 90 seconds and came back again in large part due to a great second half.
Yeah, and that's a testament to their defense. You think about Morehead State in that first half. They shot around 48% from the field. In that second half, the defense dug in for their line. Now, they forced Morehead State shoot 32% from the field. And then the big fella, Dame Danger. You put him in the basketball game, and he made play after play, rebound after rebound, 21-8 in 23 minutes, and then 17 of his 21 in that second half.
Danger literally didn't miss. He was 9 of 9 from the floor, just a dominant force inside. We don't even have time to break down the triple-double. That's how
crazy.
Incredible this game was.
Triple-double is the third best player. Outstanding.
Amazing stuff for Illinois, and so that means they move on, and they will take Duquesne on Saturday evening in Omaha as Duquesne took down BYU 71-67. It was their first win for Duquesne in 55 years, not since the mid-1970s did they get a win. This would be an important win for Illinois if they can beat Duquesne because it would get them to the Sweet 16, which they haven't done since that magical team in 2005.
That's crazy. And when you go up against Duquesne, you see how they beat BYU. They came out and they threw the first punch against BYU, and they controlled the tempo. They controlled the physicality of the game. They ran BYU off of the three-point line. I don't think this will be the same story. I think Illinois, they have too many athletes. They force you to play their style. You don't play Illinois and say, you're going to play our tempo. They are going to run no matter what. And if you can't run for 40 minutes with Illinois, you got to be able to do something different.
Well, that's the thing. I still feel like we haven't seen a complete game for Michigan State. I mean, even in this one, they lost 16 turnovers. They got up to that early lead in this game. It was 20-8 because they were hitting threes. Then they turned the ball over and allowed their opponent to get back in. You're going to lose that margin of error that you had in this game as you go further in this tournament.
No, 100%. You have to take care of the basketball. The good thing that happened about this game for Michigan State is that Mississippi State, they turned the basketball over 15 times themselves, and Michigan State was able to capitalize, score 29 points off of their mishaps. You go up against North Carolina, you got to take care of the basketball. You got to rebound it. It starts there, and then you got to make your open shots, and then you got to try to steal some baskets other places.
We alluded to it. Their next opponent will be the Tar Heels as UNC took down Wagner 90-62 in their game. So Saturday late afternoon in Charlotte will be 1 versus 9, two powerhouse programs in college basketball, North Carolina and Michigan State. Is there a player for MSU you think has to step up in this game?
I think it's going to have to continue to be Jay Nakins. I really like that matchup with Cormac Ryan against Jay Nakins on the wing. I think Jay Nakins can get to the basket at will, go and finish with the trees. And then on the perimeter, defensively, all three of Michigan State's guards, you throw Trey Hollum in there and you call him a foursome. They're going to have their hands full with R.J. Davis guarding him on the perimeter. I look at R.J. Davis as a better Josh Hubbard. He's bigger. He can shoot it a little bit better from deep. If this is a game where they can get R.J. Davis maybe 20, 22 points on 17, 18 shots, that works in Michigan State's favor. And there's those big fellas, Carson Cooper, Jackson Kohler, Matty Sissoko, 3 bodies, 15 fouls to guard Baycott. I like that for Michigan State.
I know it's a cliche, but January, February Izzo rears its head once again. Let's talk about these teams, and we'll start off with the top team, the Boilermakers. I can't imagine what it's like right now because the pressure on this first game with what happened last year has got to be immense.
I can't even get excited for the game, and I'm not even playing in it. But the guy that's got to step up for me, it's got to be Braden Smith. Braden Smith has got to have a phenomenal tournament. He's got to be aggressive with the ball in his hands. He's got to take the open shots. He's got to control the pace of the game, set the table offensively. And then Lance Jones, it's your time to show the entire country why Coach Painter brought you in and why Purdue is different from this season than last.
If they can get a win in this game, that's 30 wins on the season, which will tie the all-time record for that program. You heard Greg Gard talk about James Madison, their opponent. That's like the most popular pick this year for an upset because, as he mentioned, they already beat a Big Ten team and a good one in Michigan State.
But Michigan State, they didn't have Chucky Hepburn. Chucky Hepburn is playing his best basketball of the season right now at this point in the season. Aggressive offensively, knocking down shots. And then the matchup of the game is going to be A.J. Storr versus Terrence Edwards. I think A.J. Storr is a better player. I think he wins that matchup.
Chucky Hepburn was something else in the Big
Yes,
Ten
he
tournament.
was, big time.
I mean, he had a whole new gear. That's one of the main reasons why Wisconsin looked so good that past week in Minneapolis. By the way, this is JMU team. I mentioned Purdue would have 30 wins. They've already got 31 right now for James Madison. Northwestern taking on a team that did really well in the tournament last year in FAU. What are you looking for?
Boo Buie versus Jonell Davis. That's going to be a big-time matchup on the perimeter. It's big game Boo heading to New York. I expect him to have a phenomenal performance. And then inside, you know FAU and that 7-footer Golden, they're going to pound the basketball inside. Nick Martinelli for Northwestern is going to have to be productive on the inside. Those little flipper doodles, they're going to have to work in this game. They're going to need some tools.
Yeah, hurt Ty Berry, hurt Matthew Nicholson. It's going to need a lot of performance from those guys who are there. And then the other one to get to is another 8-9 matchup. It is Nebraska against Texas A&M. Plenty of storylines surrounding this one. What are you looking for?
Keisei Tominaga. The stage is set for him. It's a big stage, big-time environment. I expected nothing short but a great performance from Keisei Tominaga. You look at Texas A&M, they haven't faced a Keisei Tominaga. They haven't had to guard him off the ball, off of those screens. He's going to be great. And then Nebraska, they're going to have to rebound the basketball. The person I'm looking for is Bryce Williams. From that guard position, get in there, mix it up, clean up the glass. Don't let Texas A&M live on the offensive glass.
You get the feeling if Nebraska wins this game and Keisei Tominaga just shows a little bit of what he is, he's going to be a national star overnight. People who haven't watched college basketball are looking for someone like him to fall in love with.
And he's the guy to do it, the Keisei Tominaga. As Rob would say, our producer, maybe Steph Curry is the American version of Keisei Tominaga because this guy's been on a heater, the Big Ten tournament. He was great. I expected nothing less.
See if he can get Nebraska their first win ever in the history of the NCAA tournament.